Welcome to the Budget Mom YouTube channel. I'm Kamiko Love from thebudgetmom.com, and today we are going to be making a recipe that is going to be very good for the new weather that we all might be seeing. So as you guys know, spring, at least where I live, has come up and the warmer weather is starting, and with that means more barbecuing. So today we're going to be doing a side that goes wonderful with steaks, with hamburgers, with hot dogs, anything that you could be grilling on your barbecue. After I posted this side recipe on my Instagram, I had hundreds upon hundreds of requests on how I make my macaroni salad. So today I'm going to be showing you a really easy, affordable, and very tasty side recipe. So the things that you need to make this recipe is really dependent on what you have in your fridge. Now, when I make my macaroni salad recipe, there is a base recipe, but what I put into, say, my macaroni noodles depends on what veggies I have in my fridge. Now, today I'm going to be using some red pepper. I'm going to be using some celery, some sweet pickles, some onions, some red onions, as well as some hard-boiled egg. So with this, literally use whatever veggies you have in your fridge, which means that when I make my macaroni salad at home, it's different pretty much every single time I make it. I've made it with shredded carrots. I've made it up with diced beets, red beets. If you have, maybe you don't have sweet pickles, but have regular pickles, that you can use that as well. So pretty much anything that veggies, broccoli, you could even put raw broccoli in your macaroni salad. Just make sure it's really washed really well. So let's go ahead and get started on how I make my macaroni salad. So let's talk about how I prep my macaroni noodles. Now, I cook it according to box directions, get it fully cooked. But what I do is I rinse them really well with cold water. And then to cause the noodles from sticking together, I put in just a little drizzle of olive oil. It makes it so the noodles are really, really loose. And that's how I prep my noodles. So next, the first thing that you want to do is you want to dump all of your ingredients into your noodles. So for this recipe, I put in a whole red pepper. I like a lot of peppers in my macaroni salad. And this is also what you put in your macaroni salad is based on your taste preferences. I'm putting in 2 celery stalks, just diced up into big chunks. I also like big chunks in my macaroni salad, and you can definitely make your dices a little bit smaller too. I'm adding 2 baby sweet pickles, diced up. I'm adding about a little less than half of a red onion, really finely diced. I like a lot of onion in my macaroni salad, but I do realize that some people don't like onions, so you can leave those out. And then I like a ton of hard-boiled eggs in my macaroni salad. For this recipe, I am using 3 hard-boiled eggs, but I've made it even up to 5 hard-boiled eggs. I think it adds a really good taste to your macaroni salad. So once you have all of your different ingredients in your noodles, you just want to stir it up. And I should have got a bigger bowl for this. You just want to make sure that that's all really nicely stirred. I also used an 8-ounce bag of macaroni. Now, I like to use the large elbow macaroni, so it's a little bit bigger than what you'd see your normal macaroni noodles, but I like to have a good bite when I bite into my macaroni salad. I like a mouthful, so I like to have the bigger, and plus, I think I just like the texture of the bigger noodles too. But you can definitely use smaller noodles. Okay, so that's all been stirred up pretty well. The next thing that you want to do is you want to start the process of making your macaroni salad dressing. So to make the macaroni salad dressing, it's 3/4 of mayo. So what I do, I just grab a rubber spatula and a measuring cup. So there's 1. And the rubber spatula is great because it means you can get it all out of there and then start over. So there's 1. Make sure it's all the air pockets are. So there's 2, and it doesn't have to be exact, but you want to get it pretty close. You could also use this with the olive oil based mayonnaise. That works really well too. I'm just using real mayo. You can even use light mayo too if you want to use a light mayo. Okay, so there's 3/4 and get all of that out of there. All right, the next ingredient you want is sour cream. I use the Daisy sour cream. So give that a good stir if it's been sitting in your fridge. And you're gonna need 1/4 cup sour cream. So I just take my spatula again. This is how I measure things. You might do it differently. This seems to work really well. So that's about 1/4. Okay. So next thing you want is 1 tablespoon of sugar. And you're gonna do 1 tablespoon of red wine vinegar. I use the Italian Kitchen. So you want 1 tablespoon of that. If you don't have red wine vinegar, apple cider vinegar works just as well. I've made this recipe with both vinegars and both turn out just as good. All right, then you're gonna add 2 tablespoons of sweet pickle juice. Now, I get the Sweet Baby wholes and I just use the pickle juice that's in the jar. So 1, 2. Now the sweetness in the pickle juice is going to offset the acidity from the vinegar. So it depends on if you like a really type of vinegary type taste, then you could do less sweet pickle juice. If you don't have sweet pickles, which I didn't when I first created this recipe, I had regular pickles. What I did to offset or compensate some of that acidity in the vinegar, I added more sugar to my recipe. And it turned out and tasted delicious. It was still fine. Another option to add a little bit of sweetness to your salad dressing for the macaroni salad is adding a little bit of mirin sauce. Now, this is an Asian type of cooking sauce or liquid, but it's very sweet. And so you could even add a little bit of this into your salad dressing as well. And it looks like this is the one that I use here. All right, so after you add your sweet pickle juice, the next thing you're gonna add is Dijon mustard. Now, what I do is just add a nice squirt of Dijon mustard, or it's about 2 teaspoons of that. The next thing that you wanna add about 1/4 teaspoon salt and pepper. Now, these are my salt and pepper shakers, but like I said, I don't usually measure. I just dump it in a little bit at a time, and then I tweak it based on how it tastes when I mix it all up. So a little bit of splash of that. The next thing that you want to add is a little bit of garlic powder. Now, this is about 1/8 teaspoon, which is they consider 1/8 teaspoon, because they don't usually give out teaspoons that's 1/8. 1/8 teaspoon is literally a pinch between your thumb and finger. That's how much 1/8 teaspoon. It's very, very small. So that's of the garlic powder. The next is crushed red peppers. You want to do the same thing. About 1/8 teaspoon. And then here's another thing. I actually got really creative and I added Cajun seasoning into my sauce. Now, what you could do if you don't like your sauce to be really salty, you could substitute some of that salt for a little bit of Cajun seasoning. I think it tastes great. I add about a splash, really small amount there. All right, so once you have all of your ingredients in your bowl, you want to give it a nice whisk. And what I do, once I have this all whisked together, what I do is I taste it before I dump it all over my noodles, because you want to be able to get the taste of the sauce the way you want it before you drench it on your all of your noodles and ruin your entire dish with the sauce you don't like. So whisk that up really well. Okay, let me taste this. See, I think that's perfect. That's perfect for me. All right, so set that there. All right, so now you have your macaroni salad and you have your dressing. You just want to pour your dressing into your noodles. The great thing about this recipe too is I don't like a really drenched macaroni salad. I like the dressing to be there but not completely overpower my noodles. And I think this recipe does that really well. It coats all the noodles, but you're not sitting there in a pile of liquid either. You want to give this a nice coat. And my family loves this recipe. My son loves it. It's great because he can pick out too some of the veggies he likes to eat in it. As you can see, the noodles are drenched. The noodles are drenched, but it's not so liquidy where you're left with a soupy-like texture. All right. So when you're done, your macaroni salad should look like this. Now with macaroni salad, what I do is I have these bowls from the Pioneer Woman, and one of the reasons I love these so much is because if I need to save this in the fridge, I don't have to dump it into another container to save it. So these Pioneer bowls, they actually come with lids. And I did not realize how handy this was until after I started making big batches like this. So what I do, it literally snaps on, airtight, they're great. This can last up in the fridge for anywhere between 3 to 4 days if you have it in a good sealed, the proper container. So that means you can have it as a side dish for dinners for 3 to 4 nights and have it still taste really, really yummy. So that is my complete base recipe for my macaroni salad. Now don't forget, don't be afraid to experiment using the vegetables you already have in the fridge. Use those up before they go bad. Also, don't forget to experiment with your sauce. Depending on your taste buds, whether you like something a lot more tangier with the vinegar, maybe you like something a lot more sweet with the sugar. Substitute different spices in. Today I use the Cajun seasoning, the garlic powder, and the crushed red peppers, but onion powder works really well. There's a lot of really great seasonings out there that can give you a little bit of different taste with this. Really, the base recipe is there, but the rest is up to you. This can be really customized based on what you have on hand, which makes it really affordable and easy. If you found this video helpful, please like it and don't forget to subscribe. Side dish for dinners for 3 to 4 nights and have it still taste really, really yummy. It's usually about 2 teaspoons. You just do a nice squirt.